Hey guys, copy 7789 here. Um, I'm just going to come at you guys here with a quick video just because of the way that the national season has gone. Um, and that debate is on hand traps. Um, and the two hand traps that I'm mainly talking about, of course, are Effect Veiler and Max C. Basically, how many I think are going to be played and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to go into a quick explanation on why I'm making this video in the first place. First thing first, I'm sure most of you have seen what happened at the North American World Championship qualifier. If you guys don't know, Windups ended up winning that event just last week. And if you guys didn't know that the European Championship was this weekend, um, Windups actually ended up winning that as well. Now, the reason that's the main reason I want to talk about hand traps and, their usability anymore and all that kind of stuff. So, obviously, with priority having gone away, 3 Veiler had basically come to be a staple. I don't want to say a staple, but most people were using 3, at least 2. That most people that I had seen were playing 3 Veilers, just because now, obviously, you can Veiler a Rescue Rabbit. You could Veiler, well, you could always Veiler Mighty, but yeah, never mind. But anything, obviously, with those kind of ignition effects would, go by the wayside. So, it's like I said, the main reason I want to talk about hand traps is because of Windups doing so well at these national championships. Now, with Veiler, I think 3 Veiler is basically going to be a staple now. I mean, like I said, it was already a staple, um, but yeah, I just can't see not playing 3 Veiler anymore. Um, Now, the main card that I want to talk about is Max C. Um, Obviously, with priority gone, Max C had, well, and up even before priority had gone, Max C had started, obviously, just started to lose value. But that's because it started losing playability. A lot of players were turning away from windups, which is the main deck that Max C was extremely good against. It was okay against Dino Rabbit because if you drew it after they summoned the rabbit and went into their Ixie already, it just was a dead card in your hand. However, up to this point, now it's one of those things where windups are going to definitely start seeing more playability again, and it's one of those cards you want to have when your opponent, your opponent is summoning a tour guide or summons a magician and then reveals shark in their hand. It's one of those cards you want to have to be able to slow your opponent down, so that way you either don't get hand looped or just don't get OTK'd or anything like that. I don't think it's going to get to the point where Max C was basically a staple of 3, back in the format with plants. Back at the start of this format. Not at this, well, yeah, I guess at the start of this format, or basically back when windups first came out, and they were basically, people obviously were trying to get the hand loop as much as possible. Me personally, I think if I played a Max C in the main deck, I'd only play 1. Now that's because I'm still a big fan of cards like Fiendish Chain. I like Fiendish Chain. I've just always been a fan of that card ever since it started seeing playability again. So yeah. I could see people going back up to Max C with 3 Effect Veiler. So I do think we could start seeing the 5 to 6 hand traps again. Now, Max C, I think, is only really good, like I said, against windups. Yes, windups will gain popularity again just because of how well they've done. However, against a deck like Inzektors, you're going to wait until they activate the Dragonfly, and what are you going to get, a +1 off of it? They can leave the Dragonfly sit there, and if they have something to protect it, they're just going to, basically wait and go off next turn. Inzektors don't think it's that big of a deal. Chaos Dragons. You can't really predict when they're going to summon their Chaos Monster. And most of the time, that's only what they really do. Now, if you have a way to, like, um, do it when they activate Light Pulsar, sure, you're going to get two cards because they'll bring back their Darkness Metal and then bring back their Pulsar. But that still doesn't really do anything for you to get around the Darkness Metal. In that situation, I would much rather have an Effect Veiler to stop the Darkness Metal's effect of getting the Light Pulsar back, and hopefully be able to destroy the Red Eyes Darkness Metal that turn. With a deck like Dino Rabbit, Maxi is only good if they basically if they haven't summoned a rabbit yet. You know, and it's not that great against cards like Jirac-Waiba. When they go to attack, I mean, it's really only good against Rabbit. I mean, it's decent against Tour Guide. However, they could just go into Sangan and search for another Rabbit if they really wanted to and get around the Max C. That's why I can only really see Max C being played at 1. I mean, yeah, I guess people will start playing 2 again just because of the fear of the wind-up loop, I guess is the best way to put it. But I think there's better cards to deal with the wind-up loop. Obviously, if you go first, or if they go first, you're going to want to have a Max C, but if you're only running 1 to 2, you're not, well, I guess I'm kind of contradicting myself here. You're going to only want to see it when the wind-up player is going first. If they're not going first, and you're not running a deck like Chaos Dragons, obviously, which doesn't play any back row, most of the time you're going to have an answer to the loop. Whether it's a bottomless trap hole, maybe, or it's whether it's a bottomless, or it's maybe a Fiendish Chain, Effect Veiler, something like that. You're probably going to have a back row answer, Solemn Warning, whatever. Compulsory, is still a very good card against that deck. So yeah. I just think, Maxi, don't get me wrong, it's still a decent card. I still think it's just a better side deck card at the moment. There's still good cards that are much better to deal with windups that you can play in the main deck that can also be good against other decks, such as Compulsory. Compulsory is good. Bottomless is still a very, very good card, especially against Chaos Dragons, and Rabbit for that matter. Like I said, I just think there's better cards in the meta right now than Maxi, which is why, like I said, I still think, I would consider playing Attack Maxi. No doubts in my mind. I would definitely consider playing Attack Maxi just because if I open with it against windups and the windup player goes first and has a loop, I know I'm not going to lose my hand. It's just bottom line. I know I'm not going to lose my hand. So, yeah. So really that's my, not in-depth thoughts, but I guess kind of quick thoughts about the current hand trap, the stuff with the hand trap, the hand traps, I mean, in this meta. Stay tuned, guys. I'm probably going to go through, I've just decided, I'm probably going to go through and do analyses on each deck, of the bigger decks, and some of them maybe the second tier decks as well, whether I think the deck will be hit or not, whether I think the ban list will help that deck or not, and so on and so forth. Now, obviously, I'm going to start with the main meta, what I think is going to happen to that, and then we'll go, to the second tier decks. So, yeah, that's really all I have, guys. I'm probably actually going to, try and start making these videos each day, whether I start it tomorrow or in the next couple days. I'm probably going to do it basically straight on through. I'll just do it each day. I'll start with one deck, or I'll give you guys, when I do the first deck analysis, I'll give you guys a rundown of which decks that I'm going to be covering, and what I think about the deck going into the September list. Basically because, obviously there's no there's no regionals or anything coming up soon for anyone. So yeah. But as always, guys, thank you for watching. I do really, really appreciate it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for those videos. All right, thanks a lot, YouTube. Peace out.